Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to really get into it today.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Today we're diving deep
Yeah.
into AI
That's right.
and not just the, like science fiction fun stuff, but how it's already playing a role in like our elections, our jobs, and even like those crazy deep fakes
The exact.
that we see all the time online.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah. So things are getting real out there. And we're going to break it all down.
Absolutely.
So first off, I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about how these conversations about AI have gone from like, tech forums to
It's true.
like, the dinner table.
Yeah, it's not some like niche topic anymore.
Not at all.
It's like mainstream.
Yeah, and it's really shaping how we vote, work, and even what we believe.
It is.
Okay, so let's like unpack all of this. And
Yeah.
I think a good place to start is with elections.
Okay.
So we all know AI influences like what we see online, but how is that like, bleeding into the political arena?
Well, I mean, imagine AI just like dissecting voter data to create these like super targeted messages.
Okay.
Almost like whispering in your ear.
That's a little creepy.
It is a little bit, yeah. And it can even identify, like some would argue even suppress opposing voices online.
Man.
Like, remember all that talk about the 2016 U.S. election and like potential manipulation? Well, it's gotten way more intense since then.
So is that even legal?
That's a great question.
Like, is anybody like keeping an eye on this?
That's the big debate right now.
Oh,
the line between, legitimate campaigning and straight up manipulation is getting blurry, and AI just makes it even blurrier.
I see that.
So some experts are pushing for like strict regulations on how AI can be used, especially for things like micro-targeting.
Okay.
To make sure everyone's playing fair.
Makes sense. I get the need for rules, but couldn't AI also be like the good guy here? What if it could help spot fake news?
Yeah.
Or those like, annoying bots trying to mess with votes?
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
There is potential there for sure.
Yep.
Think of AI like a digital detective.
Okay.
Sniffing out suspicious patterns
I like that.
to flag fake accounts or like totally made up content. Like in India, for example, they're using AI to like watch social media for election related misinformation.
It's interesting.
But the big question is,
what's that?
Who's building the AI detective?
Right.
And are they biased too?
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
It is.
AI can be the weapon or the shield
Exactly.
in the fight for like, fair elections.
Precisely. Like, look at what happened in Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
They used AI to track how fast false info was spreading.
During their election.
Yeah, during the 2018 elections. And it actually helped them, like, identify and debunk fake news.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, it was huge. It might have even, like, influenced the outcome.
Wow.
But here's the thing. That same technology can be used to spread misinformation just as easily.
Oh, gosh.
It all boils down to who controls the algorithms.
Right. So we need, like, watchful eyes and maybe, like, some digital referees to keep things fair.
Absolutely. So let's shift gears a little.
Okay.
Let's talk about jobs.
All right. Yeah, we've all heard those, like, robot takeover stories.
New robot apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. How worried should we actually be about AI, like, stealing our paychecks?
I mean, there's definitely anxiety out there.
Yeah.
And it's not completely unfounded. AI and automation are changing things.
Right.
But it's not really about, like, robots replacing humans completely.
Oh, okay.
It's more like a skill shift.
So we need to, like, learn to work with robots.
Exactly. Instead of competing with them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Some jobs are becoming obsolete, for sure. Right.
But at the same time, tons of new ones are popping up.
Like what?
Ones that we haven't even thought of yet.
So it's not all doom and gloom?
Not at all. Like, the World Economic Forum predicts that by 2025, AI will, like, displace 85 million jobs.
Wow.
But it will also create 97 million new ones.
Oh, wow. So more jobs?
More jobs.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a transition,
Yeah.
not a takeover.
So what skills should we be, like, focusing on then to stay ahead of the curve? I'm guessing coding boot camp isn't the only answer.
It's a good start.
Okay.
But it's more than just technical skills.
Okay.
Think critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, the human stuff.
The things that make us human.
Exactly. This stuff AI struggles with.
Yeah.
Those are the areas where we'll keep shining.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
So instead of being scared of AI, we should be like sharpening those uniquely human skills that can't be automated.
Right.
That makes me feel a lot better.
So speaking of things that can't be replicated, let's move on to content creation.
Okay.
Deepfakes and AI-generated art are like everywhere.
Everywhere.
Is it even possible to know what's real anymore?
That's a serious question and a serious concern. Like, imagine a world where anyone can make these super realistic videos of anyone saying or doing anything.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Trust and authenticity are becoming super fragile in this age of AI.
I saw this deepfake the other day
of
this famous actor supposedly endorsing a product that they'd never even heard of.
Really?
Yeah, it was so convincing, but completely made up.
That's the danger.
Yeah.
Deepfakes can wreck reputations, spread misinformation, even incite violence. And it's not just deepfakes. AI-generated art music.
Okay.
Even entire articles are blurring the lines between human and machine creation.
So how do we even navigate this?
Right.
Is there any way to protect ourselves from being fooled by AI?
Transparency is key.
Okay.
Some people are suggesting like watermarks or labels to clearly identify AI-generated content.
Okay.
Think of it as a digital fingerprint.
I like that.
Letting you know who or what created it.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what about the creators themselves?
Right.
How do we protect artists and writers from having their work ripped off by AI?
This is where things get legally tricky. Like, who owns the rights to a song composed by AI, trained on, like, the Beatles' entire catalog? Or an AI painting created in the style of Picasso?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's a copyright minefield.
So we're talking about, like, a whole new set of legal and ethical challenges. Are we even equipped to handle this?
Well, I mean, we're kind of playing catch-up right now, trying to, like, cram these square pegs of AI into the round holes of our existing laws.
That's a good analogy.
But as AI keeps pushing boundaries, our legal systems need to keep pace.
So you're saying our laws need an upgrade to handle this, like, AI era.
Exactly.
What would that even look like?
Well, imagine, like, AI tools that can scan content
for
potential copyright violations.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe a certification process for AI-generated stuff, like a digital fair trade label.
I like that.
Yeah, it's about creating a framework that encourages innovation, but also protects creators' rights.
Okay, so a framework that, like, balances the scales.
Exactly.
But isn't there a risk of, like, stifling creativity if we get too strict with regulations?
It's definitely a tightrope walk.
Right.
We need to find that sweet spot where we're protecting creators, but not, like, squashing innovation.
Okay.
Maybe we encourage, like, open source AI models, which would allow for more transparency and collaboration.
That's a good point.
Or maybe we explore, like, micro-licensing agreements for AI training data, so artists get paid fairly.
Interesting ideas.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding these creative solutions to these, like, totally new problems.
So exactly.
What about us, though, like the everyday users?
Yeah.
Do we just, like, sit back?
That's a good question.
And let the lawyers and tech people figure this out?
Not at all.
Okay.
We all have a role to play here.
Okay.
It starts with awareness, you know? Understanding how AI works, its potential pitfalls.
Yeah.
And being mindful of the content we're consuming.
So we're all part of this, like, evolving digital landscape.
Oh, are all part of it.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it feels like we're drowning in information.
It's true.
How can we even make sure we're not falling for AI trickery?
It's all about cultivating healthy skepticism.
Okay, what does that mean?
Don't just take everything at face value.
Right.
Double check sources. Look for inconsistencies. And remember, if something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
That's good advice for life in general.
It really is.
Okay, so a good dose of critical thinking is always a good thing.
Always.
But what about the emotional side of things? Like, AI can be used to manipulate emotions, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
To play on our fears and desires.
Right. AI can be incredibly persuasive.
Yeah.
Especially when it taps into our emotions.
Right, like those personalized ads that seem to know.
They're creepy.
They are. They're really creepy.
Yeah, it's about being aware of those tactics and developing, like, emotional intelligence around AI.
Emotional intelligence for the AI age.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's about being aware of that potential for manipulation and not letting our emotions get hijacked by algorithms.
Exactly. But it feels like an uphill battle.
It does.
AI is evolving so fast.
Yeah.
How can we possibly keep up? It's true, AI is a moving target. But that's also what makes it so exciting.
Okay.
We're watching a technological revolution unfold in real time.
Yeah.
And while there are definitely risks and challenges, there's also this immense potential for good.
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in all the doom and gloom.
Yeah.
But AI also offers some amazing opportunities. It can help us solve some of the biggest problems we face, like climate change.
Definitely.
Or finding cures for diseases.
And connect us in ways we never imagined.
Right. And even push the boundaries of creativity and human expression.
Totally. Think of AI as a tool.
Okay.
A really powerful tool with the potential to create and destroy.
Right.
It's up to us to decide how we use it.
So it's not about being afraid of AI.
No.
It's about shaping it.
Exactly.
It's about understanding it.
Yeah.
And making sure it aligns with our values, our goals.
It's about having those tough conversations, grappling with the ethical stuff, and working together to make sure AI serves humanity. Right. Not the other way around.
I like that we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From potential chaos in elections to the changing job market, the slippery slope of all this AI-generated content. It's clear that AI is here to stay.
It is.
And its impact is only going to grow.
And as its influence expands, so does our responsibility to engage with it.
Okay.
We can't afford to just sit back and watch.
Right.
We need to be active participants shaping the future we want.
Well said. So as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, the question is, what role do you want to play in shaping this AI-powered future? Welcome back to the deep dive.
Yeah.
We've been through like a whirlwind of AI's impact on elections, jobs, even what we see and hear online. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, where do we stand? Are we headed towards like an AI utopia or a total dystopian nightmare?
I don't think it's about picking sides. You know, the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's a path that we're creating with every choice we make, every line of code we write, every regulation we argue about.
Okay, so no easy answers then. But what about solutions?
Yeah.
We've talked about the problems, the anxieties. What can we actually do to make sure AI is a force for good and not something to be scared of?
I think of it as like a 3-pronged approach, you know?
Okay, I like it.
Lay it on me.
First, we need global collaboration. And I don't just mean tech people, but like ethicists, policymakers, sociologists, everybody at the table hashing out ethical guidelines, setting international standards. AI doesn't stop at borders, so our solutions can't either.
Like a global AI summit, almost like a digital Geneva convention.
Exactly.
I like that. But let's be real. Getting everybody to agree is tough. What about closer to home? What role does the government play in all of this? Regulation is key. We need laws that address data privacy, algorithmic bias, the use of AI in sensitive areas like healthcare. The EU has already proposed the AI Act, which focuses on high-risk AI applications. It's a start, but we need more frameworks like this.
Right. But AI moves fast. How do we make sure regulations aren't outdated before the ink even dries?
That's where the second prong comes in responsibility within the tech industry itself. Companies need to make ethical thinking part of their DNA, not just an afterthought.
So it's not just about external rules, but also internal values that guide how AI is developed and used.
Exactly. Like imagine AI ethics being taught in computer science classes, AI audits becoming standard practice. It's about building a culture of accountability from the very beginning.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
What about the rest of us, though? The people who aren't coding algorithms or writing laws? What can we do?
This is the third and probably the most important part, informed citizenship. You don't need to be a computer scientist to understand the basics of AI, to ask tough questions, to demand transparency from companies.
So it's about being aware and involved, not just apathetic.
Right.
But it feels kind of overwhelming. Where do we even start?
Start small. Educate yourself. There are a ton of free resources, online podcasts like this one. Talk to people, challenge assumptions. The more we understand, the more power we have to shape AI.
So it's not about becoming like tech experts overnight, but being engaged citizens and demanding ethical AI that helps everyone.
Exactly. Think about it. AI is going to affect healthcare, transportation, education. It's woven into the fabric of our future. And the more voices we have at the table, the more diverse perspectives we have, the better that future will be.
This deep dive has been amazing. It's clear that AI isn't just a tech issue, it's a human issue. It's about our values, our choices, and the world we want to live in.
Absolutely. We've explored the good and the bad, the fears and the possibilities. And ultimately, the message isn't to be afraid of AI, it's to engage with it. To ask those tough questions, demand transparency, and remember, the future is still being written.
Beautifully said. Well, on that note, we're wrapping up our deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you leave with not just knowledge, but a sense of agency, that you can actually make a difference. The power to shape the AI-powered future isn't just in the hands of a few. It's in all of ours.
Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep the conversation going. The future depends on it.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring.